What's up, YouTube? Another video. Working on the Pilot today. We're gonna do the front CV joint. I'm getting this wobble when I'm between 20 to 25, 25 to 30, so 20 to 30 miles an hour. When you get on the gas, you'll feel this little shake. I was having a problem with an earlier model Pilot that I had, and the guy that I replaced the transmission had to replace the transmission. Give me the advice. It's one of the CV joints. I didn't really think that was the case. Well, long and behold, I followed his advice, and that's what it was. So I went ahead and bought me the driver's side because it's easier. So if that takes care of it, if not, at the worst, I can return it and get the correct the other side and try that too. So I do have a little play when I go under the car, grab the CV axle and I move it up and down, and there's a little bit of play. So it could be it. We're gonna give it a shot. So I'm gonna start off with safety first. Got my car on the lifted up jack stand. Got all my tools set out. Lug nuts for this one is gonna be a 22mm socket, and we're gonna remove the lug nuts and remove the caliper entirely so we can get some freedom to work in there. All right, so here's our working space. We're gonna take a punch and work that off there. That's a 35mm nut. We use a big socket 4 right here. Get that one off. Like I said before, I'm gonna take my brake line from here. That's a 12. Remove the 18 mil top and bottom bracket, caliper bracket, to get access to free play back and forth of the wheel. I think we're gonna have to take off the outer tie rod and to be able to move this whole knuckle all the way down. But we're gonna remove this first and then remove this here and see if we get enough to slide that out, and I'll explain the process from there. All right, so I misspoke. The bolt for the bracket back here for the caliper assembly, 19 mils on the 2014 Pilot. Whole bracket is off. Hose is not under tension. I got it right here in a bucket, resting so it doesn't break my hose. Now I'm gonna remove the 35mm nut and proceed with then taking these two off. I got them soaking right now. Make sure I get them out with ease. Make sure you take your ABS brake ABS line right off of here, so when this falls you have some slack and you don't break it. You can also try to get it right off from there. Sometimes they get real hard. They might break. The best would be to get it from there so it's completely detached in case it falls and you don't break your line. All right, nut for the axle is completely off. I hit this with a rubber mallet so I don't damage it. Push it back a little bit because you can see that there's some rust right along the splines there. So hit it with a rubber mallet, break it loose, and now we're gonna attack the top here, try to get that knuckle freed up. This bottom guy wants to be difficult here, so I ended up just getting my handle from my jack. Use it as leverage, and boom, there he goes. Now I can hit it with the gun again. All right, that came out very easily. Nut goes on this side, bolt goes through here, came out. I'm gonna push my my CV joint out. So I'll just grab a hold of it from here and pull it out. Then we gotta go get back there and hit it with a pry bar. I don't have a slide hammer, so just gotta be careful, and we'll go through that so you don't damage your seal. And what I did here, I put a bungee cord up to the strut and down to the bottom of it, so I keep tension off the tie rod while I work on the CV joint coming out. So now we're gonna go underneath, and there he goes again. I'm gonna go underneath and try to put a pry bar in between the transmission and the end of the the CV joint and try to pop it off. All right, guys. So I got my CV joint out of there. I was having a tough time getting my little crowbar in there, and I was really trying to be careful with not messing that seal up. That's like, I think it's a $30, $15, $18 seal at the dealership, and I've already committed that mistake before. Since I don't have a slide hammer, what I did was I found myself a thin piece of cable, braided cable, and I did a loop around. So with the axle still attached, I went around it like this, and then I went around it one more time to get a tight loop on the end, just like this. And then I slid my hammer in between, put a knot on the end right here, put my sledgehammer in there, and just slid back and forth, got myself out of the way so I didn't get hit. But that puts, I mean, it's the same idea as a slide hammer, just kind of like you know, little ghetto version, but it works. Got it out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back, put the new CV joint in there, take it for a test drive, see if we solve our shaking problem. Here I have the new shaft that I got from or CV joint, CV shaft, whatever you want to call it, from a local parts store. I'm gonna put a little bit of transmission fluid right here at the end and guide it in there, and then give it a couple pushes so until I feel it's seated. I'm gonna go underneath, and then I'm gonna look that this edge here and the edge of the transmission there is about a 1/4 inch or so, an eighth to a 1/4 inch apart. Nothing more than that, because if you're that far out, then that means that you're not seated inside of the transmission, and it will possibly pop out as you're driving. So again, just work it in there, get it nice and tight, make sure it's not too far from it, too far apart. All right, so I have the inside of it, the inside portion in there, completely seated. As you can see, there's barely a gap in between. I did have a pen trying to catch oil that came out, but because the car is raised on this side, stilted in, so I didn't get any spills. I'm gonna show you if I can get you a shot from underneath so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so this is as much space as I have in there. So you see it's very minimal. So you don't want to have that any farther than that, because again, it's gonna pop off on you. So I heard that click when I pushed it in, so I know I'm good. All right, so now that I'm in there, I'm gonna guide the wheel hub side of this the CV shaft back into the wheel bearing. Make sure the splines match up, give it little rotations until it slides in, and then we're gonna get this match up in here and start bolting things back together. As you can see, I got my bolts right where they came from, because I have the tendency to throw things around and then not know where they go, or kick them out into the grass and then bye-bye. So that's an easy way to keep track of your where your bolts go. All right, so I'll wiggle that around until I got a good seat in there. Now I'm gonna take my bungee off and go to work on this, try to get this lined up and get at least one bolt through. All right, we have our knuckle where we need it. This can be challenging to get in, but you just gotta work your way back and forth, mash it up. It's easy with two people, or you can put a jack underneath here and get some assistance lifting up the lower control arm. We're gonna tighten this up to 160 pounds for torque. All right, so for the axle nut, I think the recommended torque spec for this one is like 200 and some pounds. I don't have a torque wrench that goes that high, so I'm gonna treat it like pretty much like a deadlift, 200-pound deadlift. That's gonna be my feel. So right now I'm at 150, so I need another 70 pounds or so. Okay, so I review the specs for the axle nut. 242 pounds. So again, I'm gonna just go by feel. I'm 150 now. I'm gonna crank it up another did another 100 pounds at least. So I'll give it a good go here and try to fill it by hand, and then lock it up. Hit that tab in with a flat head or a an extension or a pin. I forget the name of one of these guys here. I cannot think of the name of that. A punch, and lock that in. All right, what I'm gonna end up doing is, so I don't put all that stress on the transmission and the axle, I'm gonna do that once I'm gonna pop the wheel cap off right there. So from the back you push that off, put your wheel on, and then you can work on the torque spec while you have the wheel on there, and the car's creating pressure towards the ground, so you don't put all that stress on your other parts. So that's how we'll do it. All right, so these are actually 19 mils. I misspoke earlier. I thought they were 18. So these get it torqued down to 100 pounds, top and bottom, 100 pounds. All right, so I got my wheel on. I did a check back there, make sure I have my hose back where it belongs, my ABS cable back where it belongs. Every bolt that I mess with back here, caliper bolts are over than it's supposed to be. My axle is all the way through. So I'm gonna put the car down and work on giving this another quarter turn or so. I did mark it right there at the top with a flat with a pry bar, so I know you know how far I'm moving. And then I'm gonna put the cap back on, torque down my lug nuts to 95, and that's the end of the day. And we're gonna take it for a spin and see if we get rid of that wobble. After all this work and $100 down in the new part, I can only hope that this was the side that needed to be replaced. All right, that's super tight now. I don't think it needs to be any tighter than what I have it. I hit it with my impact all the way. It wouldn't turn anymore, and then I got on it myself and it wouldn't go anymore. So we're good. We're gonna tighten the lug nuts and we're done. All right, guys, so I'm all finished up. I feel like this has got better than it was. It's like, honestly, half of the shake that I was having, so it could be that the other side needs done too, but it's not as bad as it was before. So I'm thinking that the other side might need to be replaced, or I'm gonna have to look into the rear too. I'm not sure how the rear too would have to do anything with what I'm feeling, but this car was hit in the passenger side and the rear side, and it's kind of minimal now compared to how it was. It would shake, sorry about that, it would shake real bad, and I feel like it's about just halfway, like half of the vibration that I was feeling. So again, this is another thing you can try for when you're having that specific, you know, at only like 25 to 30 mile an hour shake, and you can feel that little vibration. It's coming from one of your CV joints. All right, I hope this helps. If you have any questions, put it in the comment box. Like the video, subscribe if you like to see all my other content. All right, thank you.